Watching, please like, share, and subscribe. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, I will be giving you my 8 tips for curly hair, a lazy person's guide. I'm not someone who spends too much time focusing on my hair. I like to do it once, let it stay in that style for as long as possible before I have my wash day. So I'm not someone who does all of the bells and whistles, goes above and beyond. It's like, what can I do to get the look that I want to get, but without ample amount of effort? So I thought that I should share my tips. They are not like the all-encompassing best ways of doing it, and just giving you my way of doing things, and to cut some time, cut your energy, and just everything else incorporated with maintaining curly hair. But still making sure that it's healthy, of course. So let's get into it. The first one would be to hydrate. Especially if you're living somewhere where it's colder in the winter, like where I am, hydrating my hair, making sure my hair feels like moisturized is a big part of my maintenance routine. What that means is that I deep condition for longer. I incorporate more masks in my routine, adding a little bit more conditioner when I'm detangling, like things like that, just to keep my hair hydrated. I noticed that usually I would just put in an oil at like once my hair is already dry on wash day. And I find that in the winter time I have to hydrate, or the way that I hydrate more is that I'll have to add an oil in like on the 3rd or 4th day, just because once I go outside I feel like it like immediately dries everything out. So in order for me to still have a little bit of shine and bounce, and just to keep everything sealed, I'll add a little bit of oil. Next tip would be, don't be rough when you detangle. I know that it's so tempting to just like yank out all the curls, but honestly, being as gentle as you can and sectioning your hair in as many sections as you need to make sure that when you're detangling, you can really focus on that part and not have to yank your hair, is a big game changer. I remember I used to just divide my hair in two, brush it out one side, brush it out the other side. Ever since I started making smaller sections, so now I'll have like 2, and then I'll divide that 2 into another 2, so it's like 2 on this side, 2 on that. I find that I can like get into my roots better, I can detangle better, and I'm less forceful. I can be more gentle because I'm like able to make sure that the conditioner is fully in that section before detangling. So it's just been a game changer in the way that like I detangle and the amount of hair that I lose ultimately. Like of course there's like normal shedding, but I think before I was shedding unnecessarily. Like it was just, I was being too rough. So that's my second tip. My third tip would be, stick to a routine. Like anything, it takes a while to form a routine, but once you get into a wash routine, your styling routine, whatever it is, keep to it. It's tempting to push wash day a couple of days back or whatever, life happens, but like as much as you can be consistent, the better. And so yeah, like I try to stick to a routine as much as possible. Don't skip as many wash days. It's tough, but trying your best. My fourth tip would be mindful of the products that you use. There's so many products out there on the market. So many say that they're going to do X, Y, and Z. Just try to dig around and really find out what the products you're using are made up of, reviews of other people, and just being more cautious about what chemicals are being used, whether it's meant for like curly, kinky hair. A lot of products use those labels, but are not always for curly or kinky hair. So um, just being mindful. The more you pay for a product doesn't mean it's better also. There's like products that are not as expensive that work equally as great. So just doing a bit of research, because products that you use can really impact the health of your hair, obviously. And so once I decided that I'm going to take this wash and go stuff seriously, I really wanted to make sure that the products that I'm using for my wash and go are good products for my hair. They're not going to create a lot of buildup. They're gentle, but they're still moisturizing. They're still clarifying my scalp. They're still clarifying my hair in general. Like just being more mindful about those things. I've noticed really has changed the health of my hair. My curl textures, reduced the amount of frizz, like literally makes your curls pop when you're using the right products. And so just being mindful about that. Fifth tip would be mindful of hairstyles that cause tension. So I know it's super tempting to always, or sleeking your hair back into a bun, a ponytail, or whatever. But at least for me, I find that those types of hairstyles really, I mean, depending on how sleek you can get it, I can't get it that sleek, but in my attempts to get it that sleek, I'm using like a normal brush. I'm using like kind of like the blowout brushes that it has more texture on it. I'm applying a lot of gel, a lot of water. My hair usually is not super clean when I'm doing those types of styles, but it's just to like make everything presentable for whatever I have to do that day. And so, and I'm using like at least 2 elastic bands for the ponytail. So anyways, it's just a lot of tension. And usually I'll like sleep in that style too. So I've been more mindful now to reduce hairstyles like that cause a lot of tension. Just because when I then take out the hairband, not only am I like yanking it out a bit, so I'm losing some hair, but I just feel like it's really tight, and I don't know how great it is for the roots of your hair. So that's just another tip of mine. So my 6th tip would be to listen to your hair's needs and wants. So what that means for me is that I am paying attention to the change in climate, if it's humid, if it's getting colder, and how that affects my hair. So trying to kind of be preemptive sometimes, because I can anticipate what my hair is going to need. And then obviously there's like the reactive parts, like, okay, my hair feels like this, I have to do something now. So a balance of those 2 things. I'm still learning a lot about my hair, what works, what doesn't work, what like gets me the best results, what really pisses my hair off. So it's all a learning process for sure, and just trying to like fully understand my hair and why it like craves or needs certain things at certain times. So in the example of like right now being colder, knowing that, okay, my hair is going to feel drier, it's going to I usually get a lot of buildup at that time. I need to start moisturizing more. I need to apply more masks, keeping the masks in for longer, things like that. So enough about that. Moving on to the 7th tip would be cut your ends. I know it's so tempting to like wanting to let your hair grow out, not cutting it, having the inches. I get it, but you need to cut it. Easier said than done. I'm someone who hates cutting my hair. My stylist is always like forcing me and saying, that's it, like you're cutting it. We need to cut at least the ends, the split ends, the dead ends. And my hair hasn't grown as fast since, or sorry, the opposite. My hair has never grown as quickly since. I try to cut it 1 to 2 times a year. and it's usually when I straighten my hair, just because when it's straight, my hair is like pretty consistent with the lengths. It's easier than cutting it when it's curly. I know that some people prefer to do curly haircuts, and that's their prerogative, whatever works for you. For me, I prefer to cut my hair when it's straight. And it's so hard because my hair is not straight very often, and when it is straight, I just want as much length as possible, but my stylist is always like, no, you need to cut your ends, your hair is too long, look at it. And then she'll take a picture and she'll see, like, yes, for me, like, looking at it in the mirror, it looks okay, but when you put it all against your back, you can see the inconsistencies in the length and stuff, and you can, like, it's like kind of split at the ends. It doesn't look great. And so she's like, this is why you need to cut it, and then it gets cut. All of that to say that as much as I hate it in the moment, after, I am so thankful for it, because that's just hair that's going to, even though the roots are continuing to grow, those ends are going to break off because they're not healthy. Versus if they were just cut and the roots continue to grow, and your ends are continuing to be and your ends are healthy and maintained, then you won't have that breakage, you won't have the split ends. I also get, like, I think I searched it and it's called fairy knots. You don't get the fairy knots anymore, or the fairy knots are cut off. So it just helps with the overall health of your hair. So really important, even though it sucks, cut your ends. And then the last tip, the 8th tip, is just focusing on wash days so that the style can last as long as you want it to. And as a lazy person, that often means that I'll try to break up wash day into 2 days. It depends. But especially in the wintertime, I like to break it up into 2 days, because in the wintertime, I can't just let my hair air dry like I do in the summer. And it just feels nice to sit outside after and let it dry. So in the wintertime, like now, I prefer to wash it the night before, put in my deep conditioning mask, cover it up with a plastic bag and then a towel, and sleeping. Then in the morning, wash it out, do my wash and go routine. And I find that to be the most effective and best way, because first of all, I don't have time to put in a hair mask, let it sit for hours upon hours, and then jump back into the shower and wash it out. Like, I hate the jumping back into the shower part. And I hate the idea of just having something on my head and feeling uncomfortable. So this sleeping overnight with the mask in is just so helpful for me, because I just leave it in my hair. I can sleep comfortably. It doesn't bother me. It's not a homemade mask. It's like homemade masks are a different story. But this is like a purchased mask. So it's like comfortable. Leave it in, wash it out in the morning or whatever time I get to it the next day, and then do my routine for styling. And I love that. I don't dread it as much, and dividing that into 2 days works great for me. So those were my 8 tips. Let me know what you think. Feel free to leave a comment, share, subscribe, but I'm really curious to know what you do, what your thoughts are. This is just what's been working for me lately. I'm not an expert, but I am someone who wants to make wash day as easy as possible, and keeping my overall health of my hair, keeping my hair healthy overall with minimal effort. That's the goal. That's just the way that I am. So that's all for this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.